Welcome back to the Aussie Shed, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Project Fairlady. So what I'm about to do is get stuck into this casting flash removal. While I've got the engine sitting here on the stand, I'm just going to get into this front section where the water pump's been removed that leads into the main coolant gallery through the middle of the block that cools all the cylinders, leads all the way through to a Welsh plug on the back. Now, while it's here on the stand, all I can do is just this first section at the very front. And the only reason I'm attacking that now is just because it's easier to sort of move it around on the stand. I'll get that done, and then I will quickly strip the engine down to a bare block, get it off the engine stand, get it onto a table so we can get stuck right into it. And you can see what we've got there, guys. That's looking in through the main gallery through the center where we're going to be doing most of our work. It's just an absolute mess in there. So we've got to get in there with a rotary burr on a air die grinder and get rid of all that stuff. So at the moment, I'll just do this front section. As I say, I'll only be able to get in a little way, and then we'll get stuck into the rest of it once the engine's stripped down. Well, that's a bit of a start, guys. That's probably all I can do while it's on the stand and sort of in this position. You can see I've started in here, just cleaning out all these really sharp corners and cleaning up the casting a lot in there. There was quite a bit of casting flash in there as well, but you can see what I've been doing in this main area that feeds off where the water pump mounts here. You'll remember this was just chockers with very sharp sort of casting flash, and it was kind of all over the place. So you can see I'm in a little ways, but not that far. I'm kind of up to that, probably the first freeze plug that comes down through the valley, but you can see I've got a lot further to go. A lot further to go. Can't see crap through there yet. So let's get this sucker apart and get bloody serious with it. Alrighty. So all of the Welsh plugs slash freeze plugs are all out of the block now. So I've got access to the rear of this coolant gallery. So let's go and have a look at the back of this. And there it is, guys. That is what we've got to clean out from the backside. You can see that is one gnarly mess in there. So much casting flash. You can see it looking down in through these guys as well. This is where the freeze plugs are out of the top in the valley there. Not that it's bloody focusing, but yeah, some bits are worse than others. But that's what we've got. Let's have a look through from the front now that there's no plug in the back, to see if we can see through. Nah, cannot even see through it, guys. Cannot even see through it. We should be able to see straight through there. But alas, she's a blocked. Alright, I'll get stuck into it and we'll have a look how it looks when it's done. So I'm using a 6" by 1/4 rotary burr in my straight air die grinder there, and what I also have is a selection of spade bit extensions that work reasonably well as an extension for the burrs. So it gives me basically 3 different lengths that I can use to work with to get right through the block basically. So you can see I'm coming down through the water jackets from the top of the block there that feed up into the heads, and you can see they go straight down into that same section of that main water gallery. And the reason I'm running down through there is there's so much crap that's built up in through there, and there's also a crap ton of casting flash in that same position. It was definitely worthwhile for me to get down in through there and have a bit of a clean up. The amount of stuff I pulled just out of these sections was sort of phenomenal, and it really allowed me to do a much better job of, as I say, getting right down into that main water gallery that runs down through the middle there. That water gallery is quite complex, there's a lot to it, and the more you can get out of there, you know, the better a job you're going to get. This block was particularly bad, not just from the casting flash, but this engine had been sitting for long periods of time without being driven, and it had a massive amount of accumulated sludge in the cooling system and in the water jackets in the block and also in the heads. So perfect opportunity while I've got the long burr in the die grinder to get down in through these water jackets around the cylinders, clean out as much crap as I can before it goes to the machine shop for them to work their magic with it as well. Honestly, anything I can do ahead of them makes their job a lot easier and just increases the chance of them being able to remove absolutely everything that's left behind, rather than having to deal with some really large sort of crusty deposits right from the get-go. It's a pretty grubby, bloody filthy job to be doing. Like, you just get literally covered in crap while you're doing this. You can see how dirty I am. I've just got garbage all over me and there's stuff flying everywhere. Plus, you know, it's a bloody noisy tool, the air die grinder. I reckon my neighbours would be tearing their hair out right now, but bad luck. We've got a Z32 to build. Priorities, folks, priorities. So you can see I've switched to a short burr there, and what I'm doing is just cleaning up the very top of those water jackets where they meet that deck surface, just because you know, they were sort of as cast there and they had a lot of crud built up right around that top edge. It was just rusty crap that I'm just cleaning off. I'm not actually you know, removing any cast iron. Well, not much anyway. I'm just basically cleaning up the hole, any irregularities in the holes. So if the casting was a little bit blocked, because these are as cast, they're not machined, these holes, so often they're not fully formed. So if you throw an eye over them, and you can, you know, you'll see which ones need a bit of work. When you really just compare them from side to side, you'll notice that, you know, the mirror image of a particular hole might be properly formed and the one that you're about to work on isn't, so you can just kind of make them the same. You can see how they're meant to look just from the sort of surrounding casting in those areas, and they're pretty easy. The cast iron comes away fairly easily anyway, so it just helps remove any restriction where you're moving into that head gasket area and into the head, so there's really nothing that the cooling system's fighting anymore. It all just helps smooth that flow of water through the block and heads, which is really what you're after. You can see from the amount of garbage that's blowing out of here, just exactly what was being released from in there. A lot of that is just dried out crud from the cooling system, but a lot of it is also casting flash. So I've just got a small flat wheel on the die grinder there. It's 120 grit, pretty fine. All I'm doing is just lightly touching up where the Welsh plugs go in, just because there was, again, a lot of accumulated sludge and a bit of rust around where they go in. I'm being very, very careful not to remove any fresh cast iron there, just because we want those Welsh plugs to go back in nice and seal up really, really well. This is a large casting sand inclusion that I came across towards the end of cleaning out that main centre coolant gallery there. It turned out to be quite a large inclusion, probably about 10 mil thick of casting sand, just with bits of cast iron interwoven with it and just kind of sitting right in the middle of the gallery there. Inclusions like that are just really terrible because they prevent heat being pulled out of the block by insulating the area that they're covering, so they kind of create localised hotspots. Alright, so this is the result, guys. We can actually see all the way down through there. Look at that. We can see through. It's pretty clean in there. But what a job, guys. What a friggin' job. What a job indeed. Going along the top here, you can see there's a lot of work in getting all this sort of finally sorted. There's a lot to that passage in there. It's not just a straight run through. There's all passages that run down from the cylinders on either side. You would have seen those when I was dropping a burr down through these holes, you know, in the block here, down into those areas. I pulled some massive pieces of casting flash out of those as well. Yeah, it was just a massive cleanup effort. Massive cleanup effort. Man, I got so filthy doing that. Looking from the back now, you can see, if you remember what this looked like, it was friggin' horrendous. So yeah, you can see it's not just straight through. You've got that, but you've also got all these passages that wind in and out of the engine block, and wherever you can, you know, there's shit in them. They just need cleaning out. You can, however, you know, get in a lot of that down through the cylinder block, through the top. But yeah, it's huge job. But as you can see, we're straight through now, which is great. It was pretty much completely blocked. There was one slot where water would wind around past the main blockage, so water could get through, but not at any speed and not at any volume. So this should be much better. So yes, typically you probably won't need to do as much as I've done by going down in through all the water jackets and everything as well, but this block was so full of crud. It was just horrendous, the amount of crap that was in there. And there's still a fair bit of crap in there, let me tell you that. But at least I've gotten rid of the bulk of the stuff out of there. Obviously this is going to be going to the machine shop to get a proper clean and a proper blast out. But at least this gives them a good head start. At least they can actually get fluid down through all the water jackets and have a bit of a shot at getting it really properly clean. I think they would have really had their work cut out for them if they didn't go to the effort that I did, which I wouldn't expect them to do, just to get all of that built up crap out of the cooling system in the block. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. It's just another piece in the puzzle. From here, the next thing will be cleaning and deburring the bottom of the block inside. It's pretty messy, the casting. There's some real easy stuff to get off down in there, and just a general bit of a cleanup just to help oil return and stuff. Anyway, that's the water gallery cleanup completed. So I hope you like that video, guys. I hope you found it instructive enough. There's probably a few things that I skipped over that people may have been more interested in particular areas, but you know, that's kind of how it is. I thought I'd make it as comprehensive as possible, and that's unfortunately the way it's turned out. So as always, guys, thanks for stopping by the Aussie Shed. Always a bloody pleasure to have you here. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and as always, I'll bloody well see you on the next one. Cheers.